Alright, Shalom. I'm going to start off by giving all praises, honors, and glories unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Akakwadash, double honors to the apostles and the elders and bishops of Great Millstone, that terminus truth. Shalom to the elect, scattered through the four corners of the earth. My name is Kodash Payah. I'm going to read this real quick and then I'm going to let the video play. Right, this is on CNN where it says, we are all familiar with smart glasses, but could wearable technology go one step further with a smart contact lens? Dubai-based Expancio is one of the tech companies developing a prototype. They say it could deliver everything from GPS to augmented reality. The company, which has received two rounds of venture capital funding, says a version of the lens could be ready to buy on shelves as soon as 2030. All right. So this is that. We're witnessing the image of the beast speaking. All right. So let's listen to it real quick.
I just tried a smart contact lens and it was kind of terrifying. They're basically the same as smart glasses, except they sit on top of your eyeball.
Think of it as the ability to use all your typical apps and content directly on the cornea. You operate it by eyes, by voice, by gesture, probably later by mind.
One of the companies developing a prototype of this is Expancio. They say a version of this could be ready to buy as soon as 2030. They let me try it out. Now, because it's not medically approved yet, I couldn't actually put it in my eye, so I tried it like this. What I saw was pretty dystopian. Imagine directions floating in front of you while you're driving, a calorie count appearing when you buy your morning coffee, or paying for something just with an eye scan. But what about safety?
The lens itself, it operates at the level of microwatts. The amount of this electromagnetic field, which can potentially somehow influence your brain, your body, is comparable to, I think, to those eye bags that you are wearing here.
The company's goal is to launch an integrated version with biosensors for monitoring health data and augmented reality ready for medical trials by the end of this year. And you might be thinking, how much will this all cost? Well, the company is hoping to market the lenses at around $2,000 a year. Would you wear one?
Nope. You know why? Because this is all part of that MOTB system, right? And all these little fucking tech companies coming up with these little digital gadgets is all programmable to basically do away with phones, tangible things, right? That you can lose or get hacked. See? So with this tech, that's why these companies are investing in this tech system, right? For convenience. You know, but really, it's the beast system speaking, man. Scriptures tell you what the end shall speak and not lie. You know? And that's what, in your head, you put that in your lens, you know, your eyes or whatever. But that's, your head is your whole, you know what I mean? So that's just programming the people, man. You know, as we enter this fourth industrial revolution, where tech is going to become, basically they want people to become one with technology, right? So I want to read this in the NLT real quick, right? In the book, hold on. Hold on, Salakia. It's the book of Revelation, chapter 13. Let's go down to verse... Right, this is in the NLT, so Revelation 13:16, where it states, he required everyone, small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to be given a mark on the right hand or in their forehead, and no one could buy or sell anything without that mark, which was either the name of the beast or the number representing his name. Alright, hold on. Right, so now it goes into the number of the beast. Let's go up. Okay, verse 15. It says I'll read it in a KJV first and then NLT. But verse 15, it says, this is the point. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. Right? So now everything is manifesting. It's coming to life. It's coming to fruition. You see? It's not just being spoken of anymore. Now people are starting to see the process of everything. Right? It says that he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. It says, he was then permitted to give life to this statue so that it could speak. Then the statue of the beast commanded that anyone refusing to worship it must die. Right? So now we're just seeing the process of everything, being, we're seeing the whole system, processing for this hour of temptation, and that's how they're slowly trying to make it a norm. We got this new tech for medical things, or people don't need to have an insurance card, or people don't have to have certain things like that, And then you got Elon Musk with his Neuralink. We always got to bring this up, because they're still doing trial runs, or medical, testing it on people, right? And you can even read in the comments, about the people, what they say. It's like you can kind of get a glimpse of how do you feel about it, right? This one lady said, what in the Black Mirror, right? So basically you'll have everything that's on your phone in your eyes. You know what I mean? Because I believe that the speaker for the World Health Organization, Carl Schwab, spoke about, in other words, phones are soon going to be obsolete. Like, it's not going to be. That's why they're putting these systems in the buses. It's the beast system. Everything is technologically advanced now. And that's how we know, man, that we at the end, because, hey, even in the book of Daniel, you said, when knowledge shall increase, everything's increasing faster. Let's get, I believe it's 2 Corinthians 2 and verse 11. I'm going to read this one in the NLT. It says, so that Satan will not outsmart us, for we are familiar with his evil schemes. Right? That Satan should get an advantage of us, for we're not ignorant of his devices. So, they talking about it being sold in 2030. Honestly, it might be sold before that. The Lord is speeding up the times. We on his time. You see? And that's why even with Esau, it tells you in the book of Revelation 12 and 12, they're going to come down having great wrath, knowing that they have what? But a short time. So that's why everything is advancing even that much more quicker. You see it. I mean, we're seeing it. You got people in Sweden already. I mean, thousands that has this implementation already in their bodies. See, the thing is, right now, it's not mandatory. because you can still use cash. Banks, you still got Visa cards. You still got, you know, businesses as the old world would, you know. But anyway, I just want to show this real quick. Let me see something. Yeah, you know what? With that, I hope this was straight to the point. Like it tells you in Sirach or Ecclesiasticus in Apocrypha, be not ignorant of anything small or a great matter. This is a great matter. But the way the process is, people's looking at it as a small, no, you still gotta, damn it, because it's a big thing. Everything is gradual steps, process, decently and in order. That's why you gotta pay attention to the little things and not look past it. Because it's the small little events that's gonna lead to the greatest one. You see? And so with all this information and people overwhelmed with information constantly, you get sidetracked and you missed what you need to see, what's really important. You know? So this is where we're heading to. Our temptation with their technology. So anyway, with that, Mr. Shalom.